Welcome to the kitchen. I'm here with Carrie of Wheat-Free Mom, gluten-free food blogger. Thank you for having me today.
Thanks for having me.
So before we dive into these chocolate chip cookies that you're going to be making, I want to know a little bit more about what started your gluten-free journey.
Well, about 8 years ago, I got diagnosed with celiac disease, and as an avid baker, it was quite a shock. And I had to learn a whole new process. And when I started delving into learning to bake again, I realized that it wasn't even just the gluten that was the problem, it was living in Calgary. And all I really wanted to do was make a muffin for my family. That's all how it started, and that's how the blog started, was just I started sharing recipes that worked in Calgary for me.
So you mentioned Calgary. So what is the difference of living in Calgary versus somewhere else with gluten-free baking?
When you take out the gluten in baking, the easiest way to explain it is you take out the air.
Okay.
In Calgary, we're at high altitude. That's taking out the air.
Okay.
And it's a dry climate. That's taking out the air. And so I found, following recipes, people that lived in Toronto or California or the West Coast where they have humidity and they're at sea level, the recipes just didn't work here.
Right.
They would look really nice, but they would fall apart.
Okay.
And so I had to kind of tweak and figure out why we were having issues, and now I share my recipe so others can bake.
Right. Very important tip, actually, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know that and probably are experiencing the same frustrations of this looks great, but then it falls apart. So thank you so much for sharing that first tip of many to come. So chocolate chip cookies, tell me what inspired and what inspires some of the recipes that you're making.
It sounds simple, but cookies is a request I get all the time.
Yes.
I've put it out on my Facebook page through the last couple of years. Do you guys want lasagna or more soups or anything? And it's always cookies.
Yes.
A majority of my followers are moms who just want to make a cookie for their kids. That's the easiest way to explain it. So I try and come up with different recipes, and I realized I didn't really have a soft and chewy chocolate chip cookie recipe.
Oh, and everyone loves soft and chewy chocolate chip cookies. Fantastic. Okay, so let's get started. What do we do first?
This recipe that I'm showing today, I'm using butter. However, it's really easy to switch this to dairy-free if you wanted to.
Okay.
The only dairy in this entire recipe is the butter.
Okay.
So switch to vegan butter. Earth Balance has vegan butter. They also have one that's soy-free too.
Great.
Depending on what allergens you have. And so you just want it to be soft, room temperature.
Okay.
And it's about 3/4 cup of butter.
Okay.
And we're gonna raise this up. And you just want to give it, again, we're trying to add air.
Okay. So
Just
mixing it adds
whip
the
it up
air.
a little bit.
Yes.
Don't be afraid, especially in Calgary.
And if you don't have a mixer like this, what can you use?
You could definitely use just a hand mixer.
Okay, great.
For this. By the end, you might just want to use a spoon, but for this, you want to whip some air in.
Fantastic.
So you've got your butter there. I'll make it simple. And then what we've got here is brown sugar and white sugar.
Okay.
You could switch to coconut sugar.
Okay.
The only difference is coconut sugar is a heavier sugar.
Right.
And it changes what the recipe, our end, will look like. So I would suggest, if you want to use coconut sugar, stick your batter in the fridge for half an hour.
Okay.
That makes your butter thicken a little bit.
Right.
And your cookie then would form a smaller mound, but would be soft on the inside.
So it'd still be that soft texture. Well, that's what we want. Fantastic. So another great tip.
Yeah, so you can change the recipe to adapt to your dietary needs if you want to.
Fantastic.
So we're gonna add that sugar in there. Then we're gonna lift.
Give it another mix.
And we're gonna give it another mix. And try not to splatter brown sugar all over us. So again, it doesn't need to mix very long. And what you're gonna see, it starts getting more and more pulled together. Depending on the temperature in your house and your mixer, if you find it's not mixing really well, you can just take and scrape the sides.
Right.
But this is doing really well, so I don't think I need to. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add 2 eggs. I always use large eggs.
Yes.
Large eggs are just what I call for. And then the other thing we're gonna do is use vanilla. Vanilla is really important in gluten-free baking because a lot of people don't realize that artificial vanilla, which you can find in any grocery store, is actually not gluten-free.
Very important tip.
It's just not real.
Right.
It costs a little bit more,
Right.
and sometimes a lot more, but you will not believe the difference in taste.
It does taste a lot
And you
better.
can find pure vanilla even in the grocery store. But I would recommend checking out some specialty stores if you've got a little bit of cash, and get yourself some Madagascar
Yes.
or Mexican vanilla. Get yourself some good quality vanilla. It really does enhance the flavor of your baked goods.
So treat yourself, and always check that label and see if it does have the artificial flavors. Leave it on the shelf.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Another great tip.
So we'll add a little bit of vanilla.
Love vanilla.
I'm not measuring, sorry. It's about a half a teaspoon.
That's kind of the beauty sometimes, though, is just do what feels right. Some people like more vanilla, some people like less.
Well, and the beauty of this recipe is actually you could add a lot more spices.
Yeah.
You could add cinnamon and nutmeg and cardamom, or in
that
the
would be
summer
really good.
add lemon peel and orange peel and add some white chocolate.
Oh, that would be really good.
And it would be a really nice summer cookie. So again, you want to get some air in this. So I don't know if you can see, but it's it's whipping up
It
quite
is
nice.
really nice, yeah.
Which sounds strange for a cookie, but I just find with gluten-free, it just makes it a little bit easier. And we're gonna put this down, and then I'm just gonna give it just a tiny bit of a spread, just to make sure, because sometimes things do stick. And then all we're gonna do is we're gonna start adding the dry. So in here we've got gluten-free flour mix. This happens to be the Compliments Safeway carries, but you could use Robin Hood. Bob Mills has a 1-to-1,
Yes.
so you could
love
use that one too. Depending on, some of them have xanthan gum in,
Right.
and some don't. If you have a problem with xanthan gum, then add gar gum to it.
Right.
But add a bit of a gum.
So you just add all the flour at once.
Just add it all in
Okay,
at once.
fantastic.
And we're gonna add the oats. It's about half a cup of oats.
Okay.
But oats are important in gluten-free baking also.
Yes.
You want to use a non-contaminated
Right.
rolled oats. This is only oats, but I know
Love them.
Quaker Canada now has a certified gluten-free product. The easiest way to explain about oats is, I grew up on a farm, and farmers come in with their trucks, but they bring in everything and they go into the mills together.
Right.
So wheat goes in, barley goes in, everything goes in. And so that's why oats can be a problem. So you want to make sure that your oats are certified.
Right.
You really do, because
Yes.
people can have some tummy issues if they don't use
For
a
sure.
certified gluten-free oat. And you're going to add that.
Love oats and everything too.
And in gluten-free, it gives a bit of it adds a softness to it. It just kind of binds
Yes.
the flours together. So I like that.
And so with what we have in the bowl right now, this is a recipe that you can kind of use this as a base, and you could add all sorts of alternative ingredients to make all sorts of different kinds of cookies. You were talking
Yeah.
about a couple earlier, so you can really just switch up your ingredients.
Yeah, from this point on, add whatever you want. If you don't like
Great.
chocolate chips, don't add chocolate chips. I would say stay to the amount of stuff. I've got a half a cup coconut, half a cup pecans, and about a cup of chocolate chips. So keep to the amount in some way, but you could do dried cranberries, dried blueberries, you could do lemon peel, white chocolate.
Yes.
As a special cookie, do some caramelized macadamia nuts.
That would be good.
So whatever you really want to do it, you could make it more of a trail mix cookie. Or the other thing you could do with your base is, if you put it in a round cookie sheet, you could make a cookie pizza.
Yes, you could.
And
Very
then
fun.
decorate it for the kids. So that would be another fun thing to do. And that's why I like this. This recipe for this dough works for whatever you want and whatever kind of food your kids likes as extras.
Fantastic.
So I'm just going to
Smells
actually
good.
give it one more slight mix. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add, and again, easy, the coconut,
Okay.
pecans. If your kids or your family can't tolerate nuts, feel free to omit them. But I'm a fan of pecans. I just like the
I
flavor
love them
of
too. They're great and everything.
And then
So we have mini and regular size chocolate chips.
yes, most people that are gluten-free don't realize that chocolate chips have flour in them. That's what they use as a binder.
Right.
So that was kind of the first thing that I learned when I went gluten-free is I like to stay to certified. So Enjoy Life has wonderful chocolate chips
Yes.
that usually are dairy-free too, soy-free, etc. They have a nice mini dark chocolate one. And
Love
so
them.
I like to switch up the consistency of chocolate. Bigger chips, smaller chips, and that just...
It's a great idea.
I think it makes the cookie taste better.
I agree.
So we're just gonna add the chocolate chips, those ones, and a little bit of these.
I love the minis.
And then...
give it a good mix.
Again, you don't have to mix it very long, but that's it. That's all it takes.
So we've mixed the batter. Let's look at that beautiful batter. What is the next step now that we have everything mixed?
Well, you're going to want to make little mounds
Okay.
on your cookie sheet, but I love to use an ice cream scoop.
Brilliant.
Get one of these ones that scoop out. I've got them in multiple sizes.
Nice.
It allows for an even-sized cookie.
Right. I was going to say,
people like
what
me-
is the trick to getting that even-sized cookie?
Yeah,
Because
then
they
you don't-
tend to mix into each other.
Well, you're not putting them in your hands and making a
Right,
mound.
yes.
Or, if you use an old-fashioned tablespoon, they're not the same. This is the easiest. I do this for muffins too.
Oh,
If you want your
fantastic.
muffins or cupcakes to be all the same size,
Yeah.
use an ice cream scoop.
Brilliant.
So basically all you're going to do, it's so easy. So you're just going to take your ice cream scoop and you're just going to start plopping it down.
So easy.
It's really easy.
So you could probably make this recipe in about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, get them out on the cookie sheet. And it's nice with the ice cream scoop, like you were saying, because it makes even same-size cookies.
In fact, you could make this batter and have fresh hot cookies for the kids first thing in the morning and put the rest of the batter in the fridge and every day for a couple mornings
Oh,
have
okay.
fresh cookies,
Oh,
which
that
would be
would be
kind of
really
a
nice.
nice treat.
Yes.
And that's it. These spread out, so
Quite a
you're
bit,
not going to put too many on the cookie sheet.
Okay.
And then that's basically it, and we're going to pop them in the oven.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see and try them once they're all done. So we have just gotten the cookies out of the oven. How long do we bake those for?
You're going to put them in the oven at 350 for about 10 to 12 minutes.
Perfect.
Depends on your oven. All ovens are a bit different, so
Okay.
you'll see in my recipes I put a little bit of variant. So check them in 10 minutes, but maybe they might take 12. You want to undercook them, just
Okay.
a tiny bit, because they'll cook a few more minutes after you take them
Right.
out. And so you let them sit for a couple of minutes, and then you have
Chewy.
soft and chewy chocolate chip cookies.
Delicious. These are
Right.
amazing. Thank you so much. Delicious. Thank you so much for being on the show again today.
Thanks, Amber.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.